Winter is coming to an end, so now is a good time to get discounted winter supplies you'll need for next year. At this time, you might be able to save money with an end-of-season sale, and worsening inflation means you will save buying at current prices. Depending on the features, some products might be in short supply or out of stock next winter. None of these items are as sexy as buying a new rifle and don't look cool on a flat range trying to impress your buddies, but they will make life easier and safer if you're planning on an SHTF world or any disruption of services. Even if society never falls apart, it is still better to not break a leg or crack your head open because you slipped on ice while walking your dog. I know a lot of people are preparing for the end of the world with lots of guns but have totally neglected some of the most basic gear they'll need if they think there will be no government or no infrastructure around. Basically, people are lazy by nature and take the easiest routes even in preparedness. They train in good weather and expect plowed roads and salted sidewalks for the end of the world fantasy. A couple years ago, we received 2 feet of snow overnight and the town snowplow broke, meaning no road clearing for over 24 hours and no travel in or out of town except by snowmobile. In 2006, there was an early October snowstorm with heavy, wet snow that caused trees and power lines to collapse and block roads for almost a week. The urban area started to fall apart as you'd expect. I lived in a rural area with more independent people, so my only job other than playing Grand Theft Auto 3 was to travel to people's houses that had children on mechanical devices and recharge their emergency batteries for them. Generators were sold out over 100 miles in all directions. Even though I was living in a one red light country town, after the first day someone came in the middle of the night, cut the chain and stole the volunteer fire department's generator that was being used to power the town's only traffic signal. It had to be a local person because of travel bans and bad roads. That really showed me there is no hesitation and no limit to what people will do when they are desperate if they are stealing from a volunteer fire department after one day of no power. Imagine what people will do after a week of not having food for their family and they know you have food. Without snowplows and salt to keep the roads clear, they will be impassable by common vehicles. It snows, compacts, snows, melts, freezes, and snows again till it becomes like cement, prevents travel, till it all melts in the spring. Tire chains are great for light snows, but eventually they won't help as the snow deepens and freezes. If the roads are shut down, there will be no police, fire, or EMS coming, or at best there will be an extreme delay for whatever services can be transported to you via snowmobile, so be careful when using that wood stove for the first time, and keep your chimney clean.
Okay.
The first item I have are snowshoes. If you think there will be a nuclear attack, EMP, economic collapse, or any other event which will disrupt infrastructure, you're going to want snowshoes for everyone to get around. I don't think I've ever seen this mentioned in doomsday type books, but if there is no civilization, there is no roads being plowed. Being able to walk on top of snow is much better than sinking down 2 feet with every step. If you need to travel any distance, especially with weight on your back, snowshoes will become an essential tool. It doesn't even have to be a tactical run and gun end of the world situation, but simple tasks like checking on an elderly neighbor. A sled or toboggan will also be useful in moving heavy items like firewood and animal feed through the snow. Much better than carrying everything in your arms and makes for less trips, which is less calories expanded. A Nahiko or scow sled used by the military works great for this purpose, but even a child sled or deer drag is better than nothing. Even if you have a snowblower and fuel to keep it running, you'll want to have a couple of quality snow shovels.
Model?
You'll need to keep paths open to take care of your livestock, chicken coops, goat pens, wood piles, fuel storage, and anywhere else you need to frequently travel to. Snowshoes are great, but not as good as being able to walk on clear ground to complete your daily chores. A lot of patriots seem to stop train becomes cold, snowy, or icy. If you're going to keep your area safe, you need to conduct patrols, and that includes in the wintertime. Moving on ice with web gear and a pack is a disaster waiting to happen. You're going to want ice cleats for your boots if you don't want to fall and have an injury, possibly requiring surgery, which might not be available. The Ring Yak Tracks, Treks, and Vices are good for walking on lightly iced roads or sidewalks, or when you're walking into businesses during your routine, but for constant walking on ice you need something more aggressive. These are Unigear traction cleats which dig into the ice, allowing you to walk almost normally, even on the iciest of surfaces. Cleats will help you with your retreat tasks and while LARPing through the woods. You more likely won't need to carry both snowshoes and ice cleats during a patrol, but should have both on hand and choose the right tool for the job when needed. If you're defending your area, attacking, or any other tactical movement in the winter, you'll probably need either snowshoes or ice cleats to be successful. Ice melt is on sale now and is another cheap solution to prevent a bad injury. Wherever you plan on walking, you should spread ice melt. Entryways, past your animals and barns, etc. Keep it stored in buckets so it doesn't absorb moisture. My in-use bucket has a removable screw-top lid. An ice chopper is extremely useful in breaking up and removing ice. You can chop down or slide it under the ice to clear it away. This is such a good tool, I'm not sure why I didn't buy one years ago. After using one to clean out a parking lot with 2 inches deep of ice, I went out and bought one the next day. Due to the unstable situation with Russia and Ukraine, you're going to want to make sure your propane and home heating oil tanks are topped off, especially because the prices are going to be going up. Lastly, if you don't have a kerosene heater, you may want to buy one. If you do, or if you buy a new one, make sure you get spare wicks, and also fill up lots of kerosene containers.